Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Tutorials. Today we're going to be talking about the helltides. So the helltides are interesting events that show up on the map. They can spawn in different regions, all over the place. You can have some up in here in Skosgland, you can have them up here in Fractured Peaks, they can be down here in Hawazar, and they can be over here in Dry Steppes, and they can even be over here in Kyrgyzstan. Basically what a helltide is it's a set zone which is outlined by the red, which represents a specific area that you literally, in this area you're going to get attacked by special monsters. When you first teleport into a helltide, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about, because the helltide has literally like blood raining down from the sky, like legitimately blood raining down from the sky. This blood is, kind of like indicative of the fact that you're in the helltide. And of course, it doesn't happen in towns for some reason. I don't know why the blood wouldn't rain on the towns, but as soon as you walk outside of the towns, blood will rain down on you. Now, there's a lot of things that are going on inside the helltide, and I'm trying to and cover them all for you today, as much as I can. First off, we got lucky, and right outside of town, there is a guy here who is, this is kind of like a chest or a clickable. Notice he's glowing red. This means that he has cinders. If you see a object like that is glowing red, that means that it does have special cinders. Cinders are the currency of the zone. And this is what you're going to be collecting the entire time while you're doing your helltide event. You're going to run along and you're going to try and get as many cinders as you possibly can. Now, unfortunately, if you die in the middle of a helltide event, and I'm not really sure if I can even die in the middle of this helltide event, I'd probably just have to deliberately stand in an explosion to probably die, or just not press any buttons, which I don't really know if I'm going to have this happen. But when you die in a helltide event, what happens is you lose half of your cinders. So as you can see here, I have now lost half of my cinders for dying in the helltide event. You generally don't want to die in a helltide event. Avoid that if you possibly can. Obviously, if you have a lot of cinders, it's going to be a pretty big loss. For me, at that particular moment, I didn't have very many cinders, so it didn't really matter all that much. But you definitely don't want to make dying a habit within the helltide event. Now, events tend to be the best place to get your cinders. So this right here is an event. And as you can see, even when I open the chest, the cinders will come out of the event chest, which is what you're looking for. When you kill monsters in the area, you're obviously going to be getting this as well. But your goal is to get a large number of cinders to open up the chests. It's definitely what you want to do. Now, as you're running along, you may find things like this. This is a Fiend Rose, and you definitely want to click on these whenever you get a chance, because they will give you not only cinders, but they will also give you a Fiend Rose, which is a rare crafting material that you need for doing things like re-rolling items and whatnot. And you're going to need a lot of these. As you can see, I got 4 Fiend Roses from clicking on that particular item. Another rare crafting material that comes from this particular event is something called Forgotten Souls. Forgotten Souls are also utilized in crafting, and you're going to need a lot of Forgotten Souls to get access to, some of the more ridiculous crafting stuff. And that's not all when it comes to the clickables, so I'm trying to see if I can find some more of the clickables for you, because there's a ton of them all over the place. One of them is the Screaming Ore Veins, and this is an interesting one, and I want to see if I can find at least one of these for you. So there's another red guy right there. He's got some more cinders for me. And elites tend to drop more cinders than everything else, so if you do find an elite pack, it's usually worth your time to stop and murderize the elites. Just simply because they tend to drop a lot of them. Let's see if we can locate one of these Screaming Ore Veins real quick. Now, the Screaming Ore Veins are kind of odd looking. They look like your general ore veins, like the iron ore veins, but they have like a purpley sort of a color to them. It's kind of odd. They don't glow red like the other ones. They actually just have like a purple color to them. Here we go. So this is a Screaming Hell Vein right here. And let me get rid of these guys before they end up popping me. I want to make sure that I open this so you guys can see what comes out of it. So the Screaming Hell Veins are all over the place, and you definitely want to click on these when you get a chance, because not only do they drop the cinders, they also drop Forgotten Souls, as you can see right here. And they're going to drop you the silver and the iron chunks, which you may or may not be running out of, depending on how much crafting you're doing. But the Forgotten Souls are very nice to get, so make sure you keep your eyes out for the Screaming Hell Veins. Just like the Fiend Roses, those are really nice to click on. Now, one of the main attractions for the HellTide is the chests. Now, the chests are all over the place, and you can see them on the map. As you can see here, there's a jewelry one here, there is a protection one, there's a weaponry one, and so forth and so on. And if you actually go over to them and you take a look at them, like let's go over to one right now, you're going to see that they're not just specifically like protection or amulets. There actually are a specific thing. Like this one is rings with 75 cinders. And this one up here is chest armor. And so forth and so on. And as you look at the look at them, you'll see that there are various things. Like this weapons one is a light weapons chest. So light weaponry. It's going to be things like swords, one-handed swords, like one-handed axes, and things like that. Now, all of the chests that appear on the map are actually not the chests that you want. The chest that you want to click on, the chest that you really want to get, is the mystery chest. The mystery chest is far better than all the other chests combined, because number one, it gives you way more stuff, and number two, it's hidden, which means you have to actually find it. Now, depending on the region that you are in, it really kind of depends on the number of mystery chest spawns within the zone, as well as when you show up. This is also very important. So if you show up really late to the party, like for instance, right now, I've only have 8 minutes left on my HellTide, so I'm actually pretty late. You're not going to be able to find the mystery chests, as many of the mystery chests. The mystery chests actually spawn in segments during the event, and they actually change positions as the event goes on. Now, one of the cool things is that there is a tracker online that you can utilize to find the mystery chest, and that one is on Diablo4.life. If you take a look at Diablo4.life, I actually have a video up on this already, but there is a HellTide chest tracker on that website. And we're going to use that in just a second here, but one thing I definitely need to do is get my cinders. So I need 175 cinders to be able to open up a HellTide chest. And that's really the crux of things. So I've got to see if I can get this before the time limit is up. I've got 7 minutes. Let's see if I can do it. Events really are the best way to get cinders, so I should be able to get it from this if I hurry. Just got to make sure I'm destroying these portals as quickly as possible and killing all the monsters as quickly as possible. And there's our 7 portals. Now, other things that can happen during the HellTide event are meteors raining down from the sky, as well as fighting things like the HellTide Commander, which is really cool. This is actually the boss from the level 73 Capstone dungeon, if you haven't noticed. That's brought me up to 133. You also get a lot of murmuring obols and crafting materials from this as well. It's also really important to talk about that. So you get things like baleful fragments, you get abstruse sigils, you get coiling wards, forgotten souls, you get the Fiend Roses, all the rare crafting materials that you're going to need a lot of to get your character set up. You're going to get tons of them. And so that's one of the reasons why you definitely want to come to the HellTide events. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rush along here until we can grab 175, because that's our goal. And as soon as we hit 175, we're going to make our way to one of the spawn locations for the special chests. Now, if you can't get 175 and you got to open up one of the lesser chests, it's not really that big of a deal. Here we go. Here's the meteors right now. So we've got the meteors raining down on our head. This means that we could potentially be getting an elite or a boss spawn. Now, there are several different bosses that can spawn and several different elites. As you can see, that was a named one that just dropped on top of my head. And I killed her pretty quickly. However, there are some pretty cool ones that can spawn on your head, like Kixarth, which also come with a bunch of other elites, which can help you get those cinders and other crafting materials. In general, I've had a lot of fun fighting the bosses as they spawn. So although the meteors are kind of nasty, and I really kind of, at first I hated the meteors, keep in mind that the meteors actually represent a boss that's probably about to spawn on your head, which is going to help get you more cinders and probably help get you more Forgotten Souls and more Fiend Roses and all those other beautiful things, which is certainly not a bad thing by any means. Now, I happen to know where one of these chests potentially spawns, so we are currently at 185. So let's head back to town real quick. We only have 4 minutes. I'm going to pull up the website real quick. And hopefully it won't crash my game, which sometimes it does. Not the tool, but just simply me dragging the window over. Over here we've got the HellTide that's currently active. See, it ends in 4 minutes and 22 seconds. And on the map here we have the chest spawn locations. So according to this, one of the chest spawn locations is right here. So let's take a look at our map and let's compare that. So it looks like right there is one of the chest locations. We should be able to ride there pretty easily from this waypoint. And we can get ourselves a mystery chest. The mystery chests are by far one of the easiest, the best options to get. I would definitely farm up for the mystery chests if you have the option. Just simply because the mystery chests give so much stuff. What do they give? Well, they give anywhere between like 3 to 5 legendary items. I've also seen unique items drop from them as well. They give lots of crafting materials and other things. So this is one of the bosses right here. Azrune Snowblast. As you can see, he appears on the map as a special icon. So as you're traveling around, and if you do see that particular boss, you might want to kill him. I'm going to avoid him right now because I'm in a rush to use my cinders before the end of the event. Why? Because the cinders disappear. This is important to note. So once the event ends, all of the cinders that you have are gone. And of course we've got an event up here. And there is our tortured chest of mysteries. Now you see that once we're near it, it does appear on the map. But it was not on the map until we got close to it. And this one is going to give me... Let's see what we get from our mystery chest today. As you can see, 2 Fiend Roses, 2 Forgotten Souls, an Expertise Elixir, an Elixir of Cruelty, an Elixir of Savagery, an Expert... I can't even read that one because that one's like off the screen. But as soon as I move, it's going to pick up all that stuff. So we got another Expertise Elixir. These elixirs that they drop, by the way, are actually really good. If you take a look at them inside the thing here, you get like a 15% critical strike chance elixir. There's also the 20% reduced resource cost elixir. And then there's the one of cruelty, which is, I'm not sure where that one is, but I also have the savagery, which is critical strike damage increase. And as you're going along and you're collecting these really good elixirs, you're going to notice these things are actually pretty darn sweet. And they, of course, come from the mystery chest. Now, once the event ends, that's it. That's all your cinders are gone. You move on to the next event. As you can see, even though I wasn't part of this event, I still got some doojanks for it, which was kind of funny. Let's go see if we can kill that monster real quick before the HellTide is over, shall we? He's probably dead already, actually, now that I think about it. Most people, when they see him on the map, are definitely going to click and get him. Oh, here we go. We got somebody else spawning. Do we got somebody else right before the end? Kixarth, maybe? Kixarth is one of the bosses that spawns on a regular basis in the HellTides. Sometimes you get a good boss with these little things that happen, and sometimes you just get nothing good. It really depends. Like, it doesn't always spawn a boss on top of your head when the meteors hit, but it's often enough that if you stick around for the meteors, usually something comes out of it. Looks like this particular time, nothing popped out, unfortunately. Now, obviously you can farm specific chests, so like if you're looking for a specific legendary affix, just like you might with gambling. So if you want to find a very specific legendary affix from, say, like a ring, like there is one particular that I have on, like the Torment Band, which only comes from rings, you could farm the ring chest, and that would get you you know, those particular aspects. As you can see, now that the HellTide is over, the area has now returned back to normal. The blood has stopped raining from the sky, and also the monsters have returned to their regular type. So they're no longer the HellTide monsters, which is interesting. The Fiend Roses disappear, and so forth and so on. Now, another interesting thing is that if anybody is in your group and they click on one of the Fiend Roses, or they click on one of the glittering ore veins, or they kill a monster, a lot of that stuff will stay on the ground. The cinders aren't, but a lot of the items will actually stay on the ground long after the HellTide event is over. So it's actually worthwhile if you're in a group to kind of like call out the Fiend Roses, and then you can even go and collect them after the event is over, which is definitely very nice. Overall, I think HellTides are one of the better events to join in on for a lot of reasons. Number one, you get a lot of legendary items from the HellTides. There's a very good chance you can get unique items from the HellTides. I've gotten quite a few uniques from the HellTides. The crafting materials that you get from the HellTides are amazing. And if you take a look at my crafting materials right now, and you go down to some of the more rare crafting materials, like the baleful fragments, the sigil, the abstruse sigils, the coiling wards, the veiled crystals are not really rare, but the forgotten souls, and then also the Fiend Roses up here. These are some of the more rare stuff that you need a lot of to do various tasks. Like, for instance, if you go to the Occultist, and you try to re-roll an item, like, for instance, you take your item and you throw it into the re-roll slot, it tells you right here that it needs a Forgotten Soul and a Fiend Rose. So you need one of each to do the re-rolling process. As you can see, I'm running out of Forgotten Souls, but I have plenty of Fiend Roses, so the Forgotten Souls tend to be the ones that I need more of. And as I talked about in the earlier, those screaming ore veins have Forgotten Souls in them. So make sure you're trying to click and, you know, find those screaming ore veins, because those things are great. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions about the HellTides or when they're going to come up, a lot of that is actually on the Diablo 4 event. As you can see here, it says the next HellTide is going to rise in about an hour and 12 minutes. So it'll tell you when the HellTides are going to be coming up. People report the location of the mystery chests up here, and also we have the chest reset timer. So it's going to help you come up with, you know, locations and figure out where those mystery chests are. If you are diligent, like I said, you can open up anywhere between 4 to 6 mystery chests, depending on the region and depending on how many mystery chests spawn in that region. Some of the bigger regions are the ones where you can get 6, but you should be able to get, at the very least, in every region, if you show up at the beginning of the event, you should be able to get 4 mystery chests. Only the special ones you can get more than that. Really, the best way to do HellTides is honestly to go between events. So if you find a couple events that are spawning in a specific area within the HellTide, your best bet is to go between those events and do them. Like, for instance, right here in this circle is an event that happens over and over and over again. So you just farm this event repeatedly. Right here is one of the mystery chests, and I always check that one because I know that's one of the possible spawn locations. But when you take a look at the actual map and you look at how the actual, you know, chests spawn, there will actually be ones that are highlighted because people have verified that that one is there at that particular time, and it also shows you the reset timer, so you know when the mystery chest is going to move, and they do in fact move. So, like, it may be in this particular location during the beginning, and after about 15 minutes, it may disappear from this location and move to a completely different one, say, you know, like up here into this region. I know that's probably not a spot, but it is, you know, it moves to a different spot. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my video, and get out there and do some HellTides.